In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. As you know, I'm sure, today is September 11th, an anniversary remembered in our country of a very terrible day. 21 years ago today, at 5:46 a.m. California time, I was awakened by a gust of wind that blew my curtains. I had my bed near the window at that rectory in another parish. And I got up, I washed up, did my holy hour, went to Mass, went to do the morning Mass. People were crying. Why were they crying? Not because of the loss of two large buildings in New York City, but because of the loss of so many human lives. The loss of even one life was intolerable. The value of one human life. In 1978, my family visited one of our aunts and uncles in Washington, D.C. I was raised in the East Coast, and it was about a 2-hour drive to Washington, to this large family of 8 children. And Aunt Margie said that people often criticized her for having so many children. So she, when that happened, she would line the kids up, from the eldest, who was a kind of a thin, wiry teenage girl, down to the toddler. She'd line them up and say, okay, which one should I not have had? Which one should I get rid of? And of course, people would laugh. A mother's love, however, is just a dim reflection of God's love, God's infinite love, His unconditional love for every person He has created. This is reflected in the gospel reading today. 100 sheep, and the shepherd loses one of them, and he risks 99. He risks the vast majority of his flock out of his irrational love for one sheep. He leaves the 99 in the as a prey to wolves and thieves and themselves getting lost. If one got lost, why wouldn't the other? How could he possibly leave the 99? He would lose it all. But this drive to find the one sheep, John Chrysostom says, that's something only God would do. Doesn't make sense for us human beings. Or the other parable today about the coins. A woman loses one coin. She forgets about 90% of her assets to find that 10%. Would you do that? Would you risk 90% of your portfolio to almost certainly lose money to find 10%, 1%. In the case of the sheep, it's 1%. You risk 99%, almost certainly going to lose it just to get one back. It's a matter of love. It's not a matter of economics. It's the love of God. The loss of one sheep, John Chrysostom says, he was a bishop in the 4th century, the loss of one sheep made the shepherd grieve as though the whole flock were lost. That's the love that God has for each one of us. The value of one is the point. The value of one person. I remember I was leading a camping trip with our youth group in 1997 to the Marin Headlands, those State Park, Golden Gate National Recreation. Very beautiful. There are cliffs over the ocean. And one of the women, she had 3 children there, but one of her youngest son was kind of precocious, and he went missing. And she went berserk. She said, Johnny's fallen off the cliff. Where's Johnny? And in about 5 minutes, Johnny came out of some bushes and reappeared. But I was amazed. Nothing, her husband came up to try to calm her down. Nothing could console this woman over the possibility that one of her children had gotten hurt. The value of one. In 2020, a government leader in New York State, was criticized for what people called excessive COVID measures, costly and limiting measures, lockdowns. And this leader said, if the state of New York spends millions to save one human life from this disease, it's worth it. Now, where did he get that? He didn't get it from the ethics and morals of pagan Rome or Greece. He didn't get it from Marxism or capitalism. He got it from the gospel of Jesus Christ. He got it from the Judeo-Christian tradition. The value of one human life that we all accept as a given is from the Bible. Many of you have read or seen that story, Schindler's List. The German industrialist saves many Jewish people during the Holocaust, but at the end of the movie, he looks at his car and says, that could have saved 5 more people. Or he looks at his ring, this could have saved one human life, and I didn't sell it to save one more person. And he quotes that Jewish proverb, whoever kills one life kills the world entire. Whoever saves one life saves the world entire. It's not rational from a human perspective that one human life balances out the entire human race. But that is the Judeo-Christian revelation. That to be like God, we must value every single person as if he were the entire world. Well, the value of one is precisely what a ballot measure up for our state vote on November 8th is all about. It's called Proposition 1. Proposition 1 is California legislature's response to the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision in June, overturning Roe v. Wade. So let's be very precise. What is Dobbs and what is Prop 1? Well, Dobbs, the decision of the Supreme Court in June, does not outlaw abortion in this country. What it does is returns the question of legal abortion to the states, to the state legislators and voters. Proposition 1 is the California legislature's response to that. And the entire proposition isn't that long, it's 78 words. I'm going to read the entire proposition to you right now. It's an amendment to the state constitution. And here it is. Proposition 1, the state shall not deny or interfere with an individual's reproductive freedom in their most intimate decisions, which includes their fundamental right to choose to have an abortion and their fundamental right to choose or refuse contraceptives. This section is intended to further the constitutional right to privacy guaranteed by Section 1 and the constitutional right to not be denied equal protection guaranteed by Section 7. Nothing herein narrows or limits the right to privacy or equal protection. What Proposition 1, which is California's response or decision following the Dobbs decision, what it would do is remove any limits to legal abortion in this state until the moment of birth. Now, currently, California law allows abortion even for minors without a parental consent up to 24 weeks. That's viability. So after the baby can survive outside of the womb, and viability has even been pushed back to 23, 22, even 21 weeks now, but current law in California is 24 weeks. After 24 weeks, after conception, to abort the child legally in California, there must be a threat to the mother's life or health. Proposition 1 would remove that limit to abortion in California. It would make abortion legal up until the moment of birth, till just before the baby comes out of the birth canal. In other words, not just when there's life or health danger, but for any reason, for healthy babies and healthy mothers. Proposition 1 is misleading. It does not keep abortion legal in California. Many have said, well, abortion will now be illegal in California. That's not true. It's already legal. It will stay legal whether Prop 1 is voted in or out. What Prop 1 does is make abortion more available up to birth for any reason and pays for it with tax dollars. And for that reason, Prop 1 is expensive. It will cost us, who pay taxes, hundreds of millions for elective abortions. It will hand government bureaucrats a blank check to tax citizens for an almost unlimited access to abortion, even perhaps for people outside of the state of California. And finally, Prop 1 is unnecessary because abortion is already legal in California and more accessible in California than in almost anywhere in the world. Now, some people will make a lot of money on this amendment to the Constitution, but the money will be made by destroying human life. That's the essential point. And one human life, even the loss of one human life, is a tragedy. Dobbs, in June, the Supreme Court decision did not outlaw abortion. It simply gave states the right to decide for themselves. So now it's our turn. On November 8th, we will vote yes or no. Now, many people won't vote, and that's too bad, so I encourage you, if you're not registered, to get registered to vote and to actually vote on November 8th. The question, though, is, will we Californians choose the value of one? Is one human life of inestimable value, as the government leader said in New York State 2 years ago? Or can one choose that another must die? God gives us the capacity to love them both, to love them all. That's the good news of the gospel today. That you can leave the 99 to go after the one, and God will support us in that. He will protect all of the sheep if we trust Him, if we follow His law, if we trust the natural and divine law to take no innocent human life. It's difficult to do that at many times. It's difficult. But God will give us the grace if we commit ourselves to Him. So let's help our legislature, our entire community in this beautiful state of California, to love them all, to love both mother and child, to treasure and protect every human life. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.